tolerance turned upside down, as we keep seeing over and over again. Tolerance turned upside down. What am I saying? Well, this policy was supposed to be an all-comers policy that granted certain benefits and rights to anybody who belonged to the registered group. If they were not to discriminate against people with religious beliefs, then why was this Christian group discriminated against? The decision was split, and Judge Alito dissented along with Thomas and Scalia and Roberts. And what Judge Alito said, and I want to read this to you, is very important. He said, the proudest boast of our free speech is that we protect the freedom to express the thought that we hate. We protect the freedom to express the thought that we hate. And this is what he said. He said, today's decision rests on the very different principle, and a different principle that's being developed all around you. And it is this: no freedom for expression that offends prevailing standards. And again, this is 2010. Of political correctness in our country's institutions of higher learning. In other words, you're okay to have a belief as long as it's politically correct. Well, that's not freedom. Now, the problem with this is that this is happening every day in our universities and on our campuses and in our local schools. The problem is it's becoming such a part of our culture and our thinking that no one challenges it anymore. The average person just sits and takes it in and walks away. But they don't understand this is an assault. It's not just an assault on this Christian group. It's an assault on you. And 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 it's an assault on your children. And it's an assault on your grandchildren. And it's an assault on our founders. It's an assault on the people who shed their blood in the American Revolution. It's an assault on the people who shed their blood in the Civil War. It's an assault on everybody who is a hard-working person trying to make their way through life and appreciate and respect the liberty that we have. No, we need to take this very seriously. The problem is we don't take it seriously. When they framed the amendments to the Constitution, the Federalists and Anti-Federalists got into a fight between 1785 and 87. This fight begins to emerge. And part of the fight is that the Anti-Federalists say, we were slow coming to this in the beginning. We're coming from smaller states. And we're afraid that the Federalists are going to try to form another centralized form of government. That's what we're afraid of. So we have to make sure that if we have a federal government, that the people are going to be a part of that government. And the way to do that is secure their rights and their freedom. Now, the problem that has developed over the 2 centuries is this: freedom of speech has been turned upside down. They did not create the First Amendment so somebody could stand and blaspheme the God of heaven. It wasn't created for that. They didn't create it so someone could take the flag and burn it. They did not create the freedom of speech so someone could feel free to slander somebody. It wasn't created for that. It was created so that we would have power. Because they understood something. Words have power. Everybody's being controlled by words. They're controlled by literature, and they're controlled by speech. You were raised with principles that were taught to you by your parents. They talk to you on a daily basis in your house, hopefully. And they share their views with you. And you have been raised, whether you like it or not, by your government as well. And they understood that. You're being raised by your government. So they understood that the people, no matter how big this government gets, they always need to have the power to speak. When we lose the power to speak, we've lost the power that God has given us. This is part of our unalienable or inalienable rights, however you want to say it. It comes from God. If we allow our government to take it from us, I believe we have no one to blame but ourselves. This generation, no, it's not another generation. It's this generation that's going to make the difference. Because if this doesn't change in this generation, the next generation, they won't be able to say what's on their mind. They won't be able to speak freely in the public sector. If you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. Protect your freedoms, and your freedoms will protect you. Neglect just one of your freedoms, and you will be in danger of losing them all. I'll say that again. Protect your freedoms, and your freedoms will protect you. Neglect just one of your freedoms, and you will be in danger of losing them all. I'm almost done. I think when it comes to the freedom of speech, we need to adopt what I call a use it or lose it policy. We need to understand the public forum doctrine. Now you can get Matthew Staver's book, Faith and Freedom, and learn more about it in detail, but it simply states this, that the government does have authority to regulate speech in certain cases based on time, place, and manner. You need to understand this. Because I believe one solution is that we don't just meet behind closed doors. We have to get out into the public. But we don't need to get out there whining about our problems. We need to get out there telling people about solutions. We got enough groups talking about our problems. Let's tell them what the solution is. So, for example, to understand this public forum doctrine, it will be the government's prerogative to restrict anybody from disclosing top secret governmental information that may be harmful to the well-being of the nation as a whole. That is a topic that the government has control of. So you can't say it's, someone's taking my freedom of speech if you're disclosing information that you shouldn't be disclosing. However, at the same time, what are we saying? What are we saying? I don't think we're saying enough. I think that we're being too apologetic. We're being too sympathetic. We're so worried about what people feel and think in this idea of offending people. Listen, when someone is wrong, it is not your fault. I'll say that again. When someone is wrong, it is not your fault. And folks, if there are no rights and wrongs, then let's just all go in our house, shut the door, or become monks somewhere and hide the rest of our lives. There's no rights and wrongs. There are rights and wrongs. And someone has to define that. In the history of this nation, what has defined that from its inception? You see, religion was the heart of this nation, and the Bible was the conscience of this nation. Religion was the heart of this nation, and the Bible was the conscience of this nation. The thing we need to think about what's happening around us is we need to understand social distribution. Because we're so caught up in the material side of it, we don't understand what's happening to us in the other aspects of social distribution. In order to control people, you have to control